Hello everyone, this is the 5th Epical Revelation Fellowship. I'm Reverend Dr. Roger Paul. Today is September 10th, 2014, and tonight we're going to study paper 22, The Trinitized Sons of God. And that starts on page 243, paragraph 1, or for those with the new books, it's paper 2201. And we advance this couple, and we'll say a prayer and get started. There we go. Diane, would you pray for us, please?
Dearest Heavenly Father, God, Mother God, we are so grateful for this day and for the opportunity to live and to grow and to learn and just to be. We ask that you help us to open our eyes and to understand what we read and study tonight and to learn it well and to pass it on to others as we have the opportunity. We thank you for your patience and your guidance and your compassion with us, and we give all thanks for everything in this world and beyond. In your name, Jesus, Christ Michael, we pray.
Amen. Okay, the Trinitized Sons of God. I think I'll start reading tonight for a change. The Trinitized Sons of God. There are three groups of beings who are called sons of God. In addition to the descending and ascending orders of sonship, there is a third group known as the Trinitized Sons of God. The Trinitized order of sonship is subdivided into three primary divisions in accordance with the origins of its many types of personalities, revealed and unrevealed. These primary divisions are deity Trinitized sons, Trinity embraced sons, and creature Trinitized sons. Okay, they start right off the bat with a lot of confusing things. This is a hard paper for most people to get through, so we're going to try to break this down as much as we can. The three orders of groups of sonship they're talking about: descending, ascending, and the Trinitized, right? The descending order of sonship are like the Michael sons, right? The Michaels and the Daniels and the Avonals, right? These are descending sons of God. The ascending orders of sons are us, humans and beings such as us that start going on the ascension plan up to find the Paradise Father. And the Trinitized sons of God are groups of sons who are either created by the Trinity or they're embraced by the Trinity as they've climbed up to paradise, right? And that's what they're talking about. And they have origin in three different areas. They say, hey, the deity Trinitized sons, these are Trinity origin sons, okay? The Trinity embraced sons and the creature Trinitized sons are both ascending sons that were Trinitized after they ascended to paradise. Okay, so that gives us a little bit of information about them. Okay, Millie, would you take the next one, please?
Yes. Irrespective of origin, all Trinitized sons of God have in common the experience of Trinitization, either as a part of their original or as an experience of Trinity embrace subsequently attained. The deity Trinitized sons are unrevealed in these narratives. Therefore, will this presentation be confined to the portrayal of the remaining two groups, more particularly the Trinity embraced sons of God.
So the Trinity origin sons, okay, those deity Trinitized sons that are of Trinity origin are not revealed in these papers. They don't explain who they are, what they do, anything, right? So they're not going to go over those. The only two groups they're going to go to are the Trinitized sons that have worked their way to heaven or up to paradise, and the Trinity embraced sons, right? All right. And some of these sons are embraced more than once. Okay. Go on. Dear?
The Trinity embraced sons. All Trinity embraced sons are originally of dual or single origin, but subsequent to the Trinity embrace, they are forever devoted to Trinity service and assignment. This core, as revealed and as organized for super-universe service, embraces 7 orders of personalities. 1. Mighty messengers. 2. Those high in authority. 3. those without name and number. 4. Trinitized custodians. 5. Trinitized ambassadors. 6. Celestial guardians. 7. High Sun assistants.
Okay, and these are the 7 orders of personalities that are in service as Trinity embrace. Now the next slide is a picture of the first 3 orders. The mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number. And all 3 of these are ascendant mortals. Okay, and this is the first group. Okay, let's keep going. These 7 groups of personalities are further classified according to origin, nature, and function into 3 major divisions. The Trinitized sons of attainment, the Trinitized sons of selection, and the Trinitized sons of perfection. So you can tell by their names, each one of them has a different origin of ascension to be Trinitized. The Trinitized sons of attainment, mortals. All of these are probably mortals. These are sons who attain the right to be Trinitized, right? The Trinitized sons of selection, these are mortals who have been selected out of their groups to be Trinitized. And these may be mortals, they may be midwares, they may be guardian angels also. Okay? And then the Trinitized sons of perfection. These are sons that have reached a certain level of perfection above everything else, right?
Okay, with all these sons of attainment and sons of selection and sons of perfection, do they mean sons and daughters?
They do. They mean sons and daughters. And some of them come from different origins. Some of them are human, some are midway, they could be guardian angels, that sort of thing, right? But they each have different jobs, okay? Millie, would you take the next one? Millie, you out there? Did we lose you, Millie?
I'm just reading away with my speaker up, my microphone turned off.
Okay.
The Trinitized sons of attainment, the mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number, are all adjuster-fused ascendant mortals who have attained paradise and the core of the finality. But they are not finalators. When they have been Trinity embraced, their names are removed from the finaliter roll call. The new sons of this order pass through specific courses of training for comparatively short periods on the circuit headquarters planets of the Havona circuits, under the direction of the Eternals of Days. Thereafter they assigned to the services of the Ancients of Days in the 7 super universes.
Okay, so these are mortals that have reached the core of finality, right? But they are no longer finalitors because their names have been removed from the roll call. So the future of the finalitors will not be the same as these individuals that have been assigned as mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number. At least for the present universe age, they're assigned to the Ancients of Days and the 7 super universes. So if the as far as we know, if the finalitors are assigned some other mission, they would not be concluded in this mission because they have been given service under the Ancients of Days in one of the 7 super universes. Okay? And those include the mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number in this core. Okay? Here.
The Trinitized sons of selection embrace the Trinitized custodians and the Trinitized ambassadors. They are recruited from certain of the evolutionary seraphim and translated midway creatures who have traversed Havona and have attained paradise, as well as from certain of the spirit-fused and the sun-fused mortals who have likewise ascended to the central isle of light and life. Subsequent to their embrace by the Paradise Trinity and after a brief training in Havona, the Trinitized sons of selection are assigned to the courts of the Ancients of Days.
So these are seraphim, midwares, beings such as that, including sun-fused and spirit-fused mortals that have distinguished themselves in their service to a human, right? And so they are selected for this Trinity embrace. So these are the Trinitized sons of selection. They're selected from their group, right? And it's a great honor for this to happen, okay? The Trinitized sons of perfection, the celestial guardians and their coordinates, the high sun assistants, comprise a unique group of twice Trinitized personalities. They are creature Trinitized sons of paradise Havona personalities, or of perfected ascendant mortals who have long distinguished themselves in the court of finality. Some of these creature Trinitized sons, after service with the supreme executives of the seven master spirits, and after serving under the Trinity teacher sons, are re-Trinitized, embraced by the Paradise Trinity, and then commissioned to the courts of the Ancients of Days as celestial guardians and high sun assistants. Trinitized sons of perfection are assigned directly to the super universe service without further training. Okay, so these are beings, or mortals and other beings that have been, especially, this also includes Paradise Havona beings in this group, who have distinguished themselves in the core of finality. Okay, and then they have already been Trinitized once, so they are re-Trinitized when they go in this Trinitized sons of perfection, right? So they've been Trinitized more than one because of their great service. So they get re-embraced, and then they are reassigned to the super universe courts of the Ancients of Days. All right. All right, Millie.
Yes. Where are we? Our Trinitized,
Origin
our
Associates.
Trinity Origin Associates, perfecters of wisdom, divine counselors, and universal censors, are of stationary numbers, but the Trinity embraced sons are constantly increasing. All 7 orders of Trinity embraced sons are commissioned as members of one of the 7 super-universe governments, and the number in the service of each super-universe is exactly the same. Not one has ever been lost. Trinity-embraced beings have never gone astray. They may stumble temporarily, but not one has ever been adjudged in contempt of the super-universe governments. The sons of attainment and the sons of selection have
You still there, Millie?
never perfection, get this, have sometimes erred in judgment and thereby caused transient confusion. They're not as perfect as this title would give them. The others do not. They've never faltered, but the Trinitized sons of perfection have sometimes erred in their judgment and caused confusion.
Right.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yes, it is. You know, this,
They've been twice Trinitized. I
They've
mean,
been
they like them a whole lot.
yeah, that's right. Okay, but these are all right. These they talk about our Trinity Origin Associates, right? The perfecters of wisdom, divine counselors, and universal censors, right? These are Trinity Origin beings. These aren't ascendant beings they're talking about, right? Okay, and then they go on to talk about the Trinity embraced beings. Okay, and these are sons of attainment. So these are ascendant beings, right? So it's a little bit confusing. All right, dear, would you take the next one?
Under the direction of the Ancients of Days, all 7 orders function very much as self-governing groups. Their scope of service is far-flung. Trinitized sons of perfection do not leave the super-universe of assignment, but their Trinitized associates range the grand universe, journeying from the evolutionary worlds of time and space to the eternal Isle of Paradise. They may function in any of the super-universes, but they do so always as members of the super-government of original designation.
So after these sons are Trinitized, they might work anywhere in the grand universe. That includes Paradise, Havona, all of the 7 super universes, right? But they all work as members of a super universe government of original designation. Okay? So they work for those. All right. Apparently, the Trinity embraced sons have been permanently assigned to the service of the seven super universes. Certainly, this assignment is for the duration of the present universe age, but we have never been informed that that is to be eternal. So, as far as we know, they're working in this age in the seven super universes. They have not let them know anything about the future, right? 2 mighty messengers. William.
The mighty messengers belong to the ascendant group of the Trinitized sons. They are a class of perfected mortals who have been rebellion tested or otherwise equally proved as to their personal loyalty. All have passed through some definite test of universe allegiance. At some time in their paradise ascent, they stood firm and loyal in the face of the disloyalty of their superiors, and some did actively and loyally function in the place of such, move your head,
Oh, sorry.
unfaithful leaders.
Sorry about that. Okay, so the mighty messengers, this is one of the possibilities of our future, isn't it? Because we are in a rebellion. We started out on a rebellion planet, right? That was in rebellion. So there's a possibility that some of the beings coming from Urantia or Earth will eventually become mighty messengers, because we have the opportunity to stand fast in the place of rebellion. And we see rebellion all over our planet all the time, right? So we've been tested for this. And only tested beings in the face of rebellion can become mighty messengers, right? All right, and this is a picture of mighty messengers. All right. All right.
With such personal records of fidelity and devotion, these ascending mortals pass on through Nirvana with the stream of the pilgrims of time, attain paradise, graduate therefrom, and are mustered into the core of the finality. Thereupon they are trinitized in the secret embrace of Paradise Trinity, and subsequently are commissioned to become associated with the Ancients of Days in administration of the governments of the seven super universes.
There we go. So it's mortals as we pass through Havana, become part of the core of finality, and then we are Trinity embraced, right?
I've got to go back and read more about the Ancients of Days. All of these are assigned to the courts of the Ancients of Days. The Ancients of Days get all of these Trinitized sons.
Yeah, they are the ruling order of the seven super universes, Millie. They are the representation of the Trinity to the seven super universes, right? They're part of that group that comes of all the Trinity origin beings. So their job is very important. Okay? Every ascending mortal of insurrectionary experience who functions loyally in the face of rebellion is eventually destined to become a mighty messenger of the super universe service. Likewise is any ascendant creature who effectively prevents such upheavals of error, evil, or sin for action designed to prevent rebellion or to affect higher types of loyalty in the universe crisis is regarded as of even greater value than loyalty in the face of actual rebellion. So if you prevent a rebellion, you're considered even more valuable to the local universe. Okay? But it says right here that all mortals of insurrectionary experience, that's us, right, eventually are destined to become mighty messengers of the universe service. Okay? So all of us have that destiny if we want it.
When you say in the face of rebellion, you mean all the evil that goes on in the world today that we don't participate in?
Right. Yes. That's part of the rebellion. You know, we were born...
The rebellion is still from the original Lucifer rebellion.
That's right.
Why does somebody always call me? Go ahead.
We are still involved in the repercussions of the Lucifer rebellion, right? Even though the rebellion is technically over.
Okay, I turned them off. It's somebody I don't want to talk to.
Okay.
I don't know who they are.
Even though the rebellion is technically over, all adjudication has not taken place, right? So all those beings have not been adjudged. And that being the case, we are still in the repercussions of the Lucifer rebellion. Okay? So, and that may be why there's so much barbarianism and evil and that sort of thing on this planet yet, right? So but that will eventually stop. Okay? Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes. The senior mighty messengers were chosen from those ascendant mortals of time and space who were among the earlier paradise arrivals, many having traversed Havona in the times of Grand Fonda. But the first Trinitizing of mighty messengers was not effective until the candidate corps contained representatives from each of the 7 super universes, and the last group of this order to qualify in paradise embraced ascendant pilgrims from the local universe of Nebadon.
So the last group that were made mighty messengers, there were members from our local universe in that group. Okay?
They had to wait on them.
They had to wait on. That's right. So, are you having fun getting in front of my screen there? I got a cat blocking my view. He's having a good old time. He's kidding.
Mighty messengers are embraced by the Paradise Trinity in classes of 700,000, 100,000 for assignment to each super universe. Almost 1 trillion mighty messengers are commissioned on Uversa, and there is every reason to believe that the number serving in each of the 7 super universes is exactly the same.
So since they are embraced in classes, they will all be a uniform number in all 7 super universes, right? So if you're up to be a mighty messenger, you will have to wait for many other people to become mighty messengers also. And that might take a long period of time, right?
If you're waiting from somebody from our universe.
That's right.
That's a shame.
Yes. I am a mighty messenger, and it may be interesting to Urantias to know that the companion and associate of my mortal experience was also triumphant in the great test, and that though we were many times and for long periods separated in the age-long inward ascent to Havona, we were embraced in the same 700,000 group, and that we spent our time passing through Vicegerrington in close and loving association. We were finally commissioned and together assigned to universe of Urvanton, and we are assigned to Uversa of Urvanton, and we are often dispatched in company for the execution of assignments requiring the service of 2 mighty messengers. What does this mean? This is one of the most important paragraphs in this book. You know why? Because it tells us here that you can have a mate, like a husband or wife, or just a friend, that you go through in the entire struggle to paradise together because you choose to stay together, right? You can go all the way to the very end and become mighty messengers and get assigned in assignments together as 2 mighty messengers. So your commitment to your mate or someone you love can go on through all eternity if you choose to. You see that? There might not be marriage in heaven, but there's the commitment just like it. You see that?
And those without mates perhaps will meet someone along the way.
That's right. That is true.
What did she say?
Those without mates may meet some along the way that they choose to associate with all the way to paradise and become finalators and mighty messengers. Does that make sense? So,
yes.
So there's always hope of a husband or wife, 2 friends, 2 mates, whatever. They choose to be together, continue to choose to be together all the way to paradise and then thereafter. You see that? That's why I think this is the most important paragraph in this book for people that are mates, and friends too. It's very important. Okay? Millie.
Mighty messengers, in common with all Trinity embraced sons, are assigned to all phases of super-universe activities. They maintain constant connection with their headquarters through the super-universe reflectivity service. Mighty messengers serve in all sectors of a superuniverse and frequently execute missions to the local universes and even to the individual worlds, as I do on this occasion.
Now, what does this tell us? This tells us when we become mighty messengers, we can use the reflectivity service which the angels use, right? That's what it's saying here. So we can communicate through the 7 super universes through reflectivity. Is that not special? Yeah, it's very interesting what you find these little jewels as you go through this. Okay? Here, would you take the next one?
In the super universe courts, mighty messengers act as defenders of both individuals and planets when they come up for adjudication. They also assist the perfections of days in the direction of the affairs of the major sectors. As a group, their chief assignment is that of super universe observers. They are stationed on the various headquarter worlds and on individual planets of importance as the official observers of the Ancients of Days. When so assigned, they also serve as advisors to the authorities directing the affairs of the spheres and of their sojourn. The messengers take active part in all phases of the ascendant scheme of mortal progression. With their associates of mortal origin, they keep the super governments in close and personal touch with the status and progression of the plans of the descending sons of God.
Okay, so the mighty messengers, that's us, become observers in each super universe to report back to the Ancients of Days, right? And we're active in all phases of the ascendant mortal scheme of getting mortals to paradise, right? And also in the steady progression of the descending sons of God, which are what? The creator sons, right? The Avonals, and the Trinity teacher sons, right? All right, mighty messengers are fully conscious of their entire ascendant careers, and that is why they are such useful and sympathetic ministers, understanding messengers for service on any world of space and to any creature of time. As soon as you are delivered from the flesh, you will communicate freely and understandingly with us, since we spring from all the races of all the evolutionary worlds of space. That is, from those mortal races that are dwelt by and subsequently fused with thought adjusters. So soon as we get to the mansion world, we can communicate with mighty messengers. These are beings that have gone through the ascendant plan. And what do? They minister to us and give service to us, tell us about the plan. You know, where we're going, why we're going there. Okay. Those high in authority. Millie?
Those high in authority, the second group of Trinitized sons of attainment, are all adjuster-fused beings of mortal origin. These are perfected mortals who have exhibited superior administrative ability and have shown extraordinary executive genius throughout their long ascending careers. They are the cream of the governing ability derived from the surviving mortals of space.
Okay, don't look for your politicians here. Okay, so this is the second group, the Trinitized sons of attainment, right? And they're all adjuster-fused mortals, just like we are. And these mortals have shown administrative ability that's superior than the average mortal, right? And that's why they are assigned as those high in authority, right? All right, this is a picture of them. All right.
70,000 of those high in authority are trinitized at each Trinity liaison. Though the local universe of Nebadon is a comparatively young creation, it has representatives among a recently trinitized class of this order. There are now commissioned in Orvanton more than 10 billion of these skillful administrators. Like all separate orders of celestial beings, they maintain their own headquarters on Uversa. And like the other Trinity-embraced sons, their reserves on Uversa act as the central directing body of their order in Orvanton.
Okay, so there's 70,000 of these Trinitized at a time. Remember the other one was 700,000? As you go down, there's less and less of these, right? Okay. Those high in authority are administrators without limitation. They are the everywhere present and always efficient executives of the Ancients of Days. They serve on any sphere, on any inhabited world, and in any phase of activity, and any of the 7 super universes. So these are the administrators of the Ancients of Days. And where do they come from? People like us, right? All right. Having superb... Oh, am I? It's
I mean, it's.
Millie? Sorry, I'm going to just read right on. Go ahead, Millie.
Having superb administrative wisdom and unusual executive skill, these brilliant beings assume to present the cause of justice in behalf of the super-universe tribunals. They foster the execution of justice and the rectification of misadaptations in the evolutionary universes. Therefore, if you should ever be cited for error of judgment while you are ascending the worlds and spheres of your ordained cosmic progression, it is hardly likely that you would suffer injustice, since your persecutors would be one-time ascendant creatures who are personally familiar with every step of the career that you have traversed and are traversed.
By the way, that's prosecutors, not persecutors.
Did she say persecutors?
Prosecutors, you're prosecutors.
Yeah, that sounds like one of my mistakes, Millie. You've been listening to me too long. I can't believe my mother said something. What was it? I can't remember.
Oh, something about, what was it?
Something about jesters. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It was funny, but she doesn't make the same mistakes I do. Okay.
There are no persecutors on the other side.
There are no persecutors, that's right. But it says here that if you've been cited for some injustice or some error or something you've done wrong, it's these beings that help defend you and, make sure that justice prevails with you, It makes you wonder what kind of punishment there is for doing something wrong on the other side, or you're given another 1,000,000 years to think about it or what, So, anyway, those without name and number. Is somebody messing with the speaker back there? We might have a cat in the speaker.
Could be fun.
Be careful, somebody. Okay.
4, those without name and number. Those without name and number constitute the third and last group of the Trinitized sons of attainment. They are the ascendant souls who have developed the ability to worship beyond the skill of all the sons and daughters of the evolutionary races from the worlds of time and space. They have acquired a spiritual concept of the eternal purpose of the Universal Father, which comparatively transcends the comprehension of the evolutionary creatures of name or number. Therefore are they denominated those without name and number. More strictly translated, their name would be those above name and number.
Those above
Above.
name and number. That's right. These are beings who have learned how to worship God the Father higher or better than the average individual, right? Okay. So they're considered those above name and number because they get a concept of the plan of God that's above the average mortal ascending. Well, he's getting in all kinds of trouble over there. All right, and this is a picture of that. All right. This order of sun is embraced by the Paradise Trinity in groups of 7,000. There are of record on Uversa over 100 million of these suns commissioned in Orvanton. So over 100 million beings have learned to embrace the plan of God better than the average being. Right? All right, Millie, take the next one.
Since those without name and number are the superior spiritual minds of the survival races, they are especially qualified, Rodney's on.
Okay.
They are especially qualified to sit in judgment and to render opinions when a spiritual viewpoint is desirable and when experience in the ascendant career is essential to rule.
Hey guys,
Hi.
Hey, Rodney.
Hey, Rodney.
sorry to delay.
Okay.
What page?
247, paragraph 2, Rodney. Okay.
Okay, what page again?
247, paragraph 2.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay. Go ahead, Millie.
They are the supreme jurors of Orvanton. A mal-administered jury system may be more or less of a travesty of justice on some worlds, but on Universa, it is an extension tribunal which we employ the highest type of evolved spiritual mentality as juror judges. Adjudication is the highest function of any government, and those who are entrusted with the verdict rendering should be chosen from the highest and most noble types of the most experienced and understanding individuals.
And that's definitely not the case on Earth, is it? So we can't
No.
compare this to any kind of jury system we have, right? Okay, but these are the beings that sit as jurors also on the courts of the Ancients of Days, right? When any sort of adjudication comes up, all right? All right, here.
The selection of candidates for the Trinitization classes of mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number, is inherent and automatic. The selective techniques of paradise are not in any sense arbitrary. Personal experience and spiritual values determine the personnel of the Trinitized Sons of Attainment. Such beings are equal in authority and uniform in administrative status, but they all possess individuality and diverse characters. They are not standardized beings. All are characteristically different depending on the differentials of their ascendant careers.
So all these beings, because they have different backgrounds, have different experience, right? And they're chosen because of their experience and values, right? So, all right. In addition to these experiential qualifications, the Trinitized Sons of Attainment have been trinitized in the divine grace of the paradise deities. Consequently, they function as the coordinate associates of the stationary sons of the Trinity. For the Trinity embrace does seem to precipitate out of the stream of future time many of the unrealized potentials of creature beings. But this is true concerning only that which pertains to the present universe age. So what they're talking about, all this going on and all these trinitizations, things like that, all have to do with the present age. It's not of the future. We don't know what the possibilities of these trinitized beings, any order of trinitized beings, are for the future, right? We only know the present age. All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
This group of sons is chiefly, but not wholly, concerned with the services of ascendant career of the time-space mortals. If the viewpoint of a mortal creature is ever in doubt, the question is settled by appeal to an ascendant commission consisting of a mighty messenger, one high in authority, and one without name and number.
So those that would be judging you or determining your future would be beings who have gone through the same sort of thing that you have through life, right? So there's a justness and a fairness throughout all the adjudication systems of the universe, the super universe, right? All right, Millie.
You mortals who read this message may yourselves ascend to paradise, attain the Trinity embrace, and in remote future ages be attached to the service of the Ancients of Days in one of the 7 super universes, and sometime be assigned to enlarge the revelation of truth to some evolving inhabited planet, even as I am now functioning on Urantia.
So we have the possibility to spread the same sort of truth that's in this book to some other planet or universe, right? And that's what he's talking about. And it's really interesting here that he states it as you may be assigned to enlarge the revelation of truth. You see that? To some evolving inhabited planet. So what he's stating here is that this book and this revelation is true, period. That's what he's saying, right? All right.
So, Roger, you may have answered this before, but those without name or number, I thought everything had a number and a name.
No, they don't. They're considered those above name and number because they learn how to worship and have a concept of the plan of God above all other beings in the universe. So they have tapped into that source within their thought adjuster and within themselves that can totally visualize the plan of God. And so
I think what Rodney's asking is why aren't there any of them without name or number?
I don't understand the question. Why are there any of them without name and number?
Yes, why would any of them not have a name and number?
Because they have been so associated with God, it is that they are no longer separated from the concepts of God the Father Himself. Does that make sense? So they meld in with the concept, the universal concept of God in the cosmos.
So worship actually, true worship actually makes you one.
Closer and closer
You
to
kind
being
of
one
fuse
with God. That's
with-
right. That's
Right.
right.
The only reason for our name and number, besides being individual or something all being alike so you can distinguish by name or number, the other is for registration purposes,
Uh-huh.
to keep track records.
But
and if these
these,
guys don't have a name or number, then
they wouldn't be registered anywhere, Rodney, because they become so closely melded with the concept of God. They are sent out by God Himself, probably, for universe service as needed, right?
I wonder how they keep up with them. That's
And they
interesting.
they get assigned to the Ancients of Days. The Ancients of Days would have to keep up with.
That's pretty cool.
Isn't that pretty cool?
I guess the
To
way
address them, what do you say? Hey, you?
that's what I was going to say.
No, they probably all have names, but they're not required to have names and numbers. In other words, you would associate them as a being, but they really are so closely melded with the concept of God, you probably personally would not have a lot of dealings with them, really, because they worship so well, They become part of the worshiping part of God. Okay, let's go on.
They would know before anybody addressed them that person was addressing them.
Probably so, yeah. They would probably address you before you ever had the opportunity to need to address them. Address
They
them.
are of the mind of God.
They are of the mind of God, yeah. The mind of the cosmos, the mind of God, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And are you up there? I think you are.
Okay. 5. The Trinitized Custodians. The Trinitized Custodians are Trinitized sons of selection. Not only do your races and other mortals of survival value traverse Havona, attain paradise, and sometimes find themselves destined to super-universe service with the stationary sons of the Trinity, but your faithful seraphic guardians and your equally faithful midway associates may also become candidates for the same Trinity recognition and superb personality destiny.
Okay, so remember these two groups, the Trinitized Custodians and the Trinitized Sons of Selection, come from the pool of what? The Seraphim, the Midwares, the Sun-fused mortals, and what? The Spirit-fused mortals.
I remember what your mother said. She said, instead of saying fused mortals, she said confused.
Oh, that was it. Confused mortals, right?
Confused.
All right. The Trinitized Custodians are ascendant seraphim and are translated midwares, creatures who have passed through Havona and have attained paradise and the core of finality. Subsequently, they were embraced by the Paradise Trinity and were assigned to the service of the Ancients of Days. So these are midwares and seraphim mostly. All right, Rodney.
The candidates for the Trinity embrace from among the ascendant seraphim are accorded this recognition because of their valiant cooperation with some ascendant mortal who attained the course of the finality and was subsequently trinitized. My own seraphic guardian of the mortal career went through with me, was later trinitized, and now is attached to the universal government as a trinitized custodian.
So as he went through this himself as a mighty messenger, his guardian seraphim, because of his service to him, was what? He went on to become part
Trinitized himself.
Trinitized himself. He became part of the core of finality, which is the goal of all seraphim, right?
You know, this guy talking must be 1,000,000 years old.
I would think so.
Or
Yeah,
more.
at least. All right. Millie.
And so with the midway creatures, many are translated and achieve paradise along with the seraphim, and for the same reasons are Trinity embraced and commissioned as custodians in the super universes.
Okay, why would they call them custodians? These guys are not janitors, right? Okay, they're called custodians because they have been faithful in their job for long periods of time, right? So they are very dependable. The seraphim and the midwayers, you know, they stay on a planet for hundreds of thousands of years before they're released to start the ascension plan, right?
Major discipline.
And it's a major discipline to stay in that type of being for that period of time. And the same way with the seraphim as you ascend, right? All right. I think it's you, dear. Mm-hmm.
The Trinitized custodians are embraced by the Paradise Trinity in groups of 70,000, and 1/7 of each group is assigned to a super universe. There are now in the service of Urantia slightly over 10 million of these trusted and high custodians. They serve on Uversa and on the major and minor headquarters spheres. In their labors, they are assisted by a corps of several billion Sakanophim and other able super universe personalities.
Remember, the Sakanophim are the second level of angels. They are the super universe level of angels, right? Okay, and that would be the area that the custodians would work also, right? All right, so
Yeah.
that's why they use the several billion Sakanophim in their work. All right. The Trinitized custodians start out their career as custodians, and they continue as such in the affairs of the super universe government. In a way, they are officers of the super universe government, but they do not deal with individuals as do celestial guardians. The Trinitized custodians administer group affairs and foster collective projects. They are the custodians of records, plans, and institutions that act as the trustees of undertakings, personality groups, ascendant project, Urantia plans, universe projections, and innumerable other enterprise. Now think about this. Why would this be so? Why would they do more group type projects than individual? Because when they're on this planet, what do? They take care of groups of humans, don't they? Large groups of humans. The same way with the seraphim, don't they? They are group seraphim before they become individual seraphim, right? Guardians seraphim. So they are well versed in taking care of large groups, large plans, and large institutions. That's what they do on this planet, right? So it makes perfect sense. All right. Rodney, would you take the Trinitized ambassadors?
Okay. Yeah, number 6, the Trinitized ambassadors. Trinitized ambassadors are the second order of the Trinitized Son of selection, and like their associates, the custodians, are recruited from two types of ascendant creatures. Not all ascending mortals are adjuster or father fused. Some are spirit fused. Some are sun fused. Certain of these spirit and sun fused mortals reach Havana and attain paradise. From among these paradise ascenders, candidates are selected for the Trinity embrace, and from time to time they are trinitized in classes of 7,000. They are then commissioned in the super universes as Trinitized ambassadors of the Ancients of Days. Almost 1/2 billion are registered on Versa.
So these are sun-fused and spirit-fused mortals that have reached a certain amount of perfection, and they have reached the core of finality, right? Then they're Trinity embrace, and they're assigned as ambassadors of the Ancients of Days, right? Now, why would this be? Think about this for a minute. These sun-fused and spirit-fused mortals spend long periods of time attached to a local universe, don't they?
Attached to what?
A local universe.
Okay.
Okay? So they have lots of experience on the local universe level, so they understand every aspect of the administration, everything that goes on in a local universe, don't they? Okay? So when they go on through the ascension plan, they have experience of spending extended periods of time in a local universe because they're sun fused and spirit fused. They don't move along as quickly as regular mortals do that are father fused. Okay? So when they bring them back down to serve the Ancients of Days, it makes perfect sense that they're ambassadors of the Ancients of Days to all the local universes. Right? That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're experienced the most for. All right. Okay, who's up? Huh? You. Millie? Millie. Would you take the next one?
Yes, Trinitized ambassadors are selected for the Trinity embrace upon the advice of their Havana teachers. They represent the superior minds of their respective groups and are therefore the best qualified to assist the super-universe rulers in understanding and administering the interest of those worlds from which the spirit-fused mortals hail. The sun-fused ambassadors are of great assistance in our dealing with problems involving the sun-fused order of personality.
So they're experienced in the same order they came from, aren't they? So that's why they're sent back as ambassadors in that order. Okay, Drew, would you take the next one?
Trinitized ambassadors are the emissaries of the Ancients of Days for any and all purposes, to any and all worlds or universes within the super-universe of their assignment. They render particular and important services on the headquarters of the minor sectors, and they perform the numberless miscellaneous assignments of the super-universe. They are the emergency or reserve corps of the Trinitized sons of the super-governments, and they are therefore available for a great range of duties. They engage in thousands upon thousands of undertakings in super-universe affairs, which it is impossible to portray to human minds, since there is nothing transpiring on Urantia that is in any way analogous to these activities.
So we don't have anything going on our planet that even comes close to what they do. Right. So they can't really explain it to us, can they? But they're attached, many of them, to the minor sector, which is what? The first jump for us from Salvington, right, to the minor sector, then the major sector, then Havana, right? The technique of Trinitization. I cannot fully unfold to the material mind the experience of the supreme creative performance of perfect and perfected spiritual beings. The act of Trinitization. The techniques of Trinitization are among the secrets of Vicegerrington and Solitarianton, and are revealed to and understandable by none save those who have passed through this unique experiences. Therefore, it is beyond the possibility of any being successfully to portray to the human mind the nature and the purpose of this extraordinary transaction. So, the technique of Trinitization itself we can't really understand. Rodney.
Aside from the deities, only Paradise Havana personalities and certain members of each of the finality corps engage in Trinitization. Under specialized conditions of Paradise perfection, these superb beings may embark upon a unique adventure of concept identity, and they are many times successful in the production of a new being, a creature Trinitized son.
So beings come together and create a whole new being, a creature Trinitized son. And we're going to talk about this at great length here.
That's interesting.
Millie.
Yes, at the top of this I wrote difficult. When I had great difficulty when I read through this one.
Yeah.
The glorified creatures who engage in such adventures of Trinitization may participate in only one such experience, whereas with the Paradise deities, there seems to be no limit to the continued enactment of Trinitization episodes. Deity seems to be limited in just one respect. There can be only one original and infinite spirit, only one infinite executive of the united will of the Father, Son.
Okay, so think of it this way. The Father and the Son came together for a Trinitization experience. This is very important. What happened from that Trinitization experience?
The infinite spirit.
The infinite spirit appeared. That's exactly right. So the very first original Trinitization process was of God the Father and God the Son, and the result was the infinite spirit. And that is the only one of an infinite spirit that will ever be created throughout all eternity. Okay? That was the original Trinitization. Does that make sense? Now, deity beings can trinitize multiple beings over and over and over and over. So God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit can trinitize an unimaginable number of beings, unlimited throughout all eternity. But as humans or paradise ascenders or paradise havoners, when we get together with a paradise havoner or two mortals try to trinitize, when we come up with an original concept, we can only do it once. Okay? So when we do it, we try to trinitize a new concept, we can only do that experience one time. Where God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit can do it indefinitely. Or His sons can do it indefinitely. Who would that be? That would be the Michael sons and the local universe created mother spirits, right? Okay, so let's go on. So here's a picture of what happened originally. The universal Father came together with the eternal Son. Through Trinitization, they created the infinite Spirit. Does that not make the light come on for you? This is the origin of the infinite Spirit, right? The universal Father created the eternal Son through what? Not Trinitization. He split himself. He created his own Son, right? He became a separate part of the original thought, right? And became the Word. All right? That's the difference. In this process, they became what? The Trinity. The original one and only Trinity.
I wonder if that's the whole concept of Adam and Eve, or at the origin of life, with the Father creating the eternal Son, but also the eternal Son being the universal Mother, so that the Mother came from the Father.
Yes. This is the Father.
Right.
This becomes the Mother. The mother of all other creation, right? Because it takes the Mother, the Word, for all other mothers, the infinite Spirit, to create anything. Does that make sense? So this is the Father, the Son, God the Father, God the Son, Mother, right? And then the infinite Spirit was a unique Trinitized personality that's equal to them. Through the Trinitization process, she or he becomes equal with the other two. Right?
Huh.
Kind of interesting, isn't it? It's a hard concept to wrap your hand around.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Rodney, would you take the next one? Thanks.
I just read. But
Oh, did
I
you?
will-
Sorry, Melly, would you take the next one? I'm sorry.
Where are we?
2274, the Ascendant Adjuster Fused Mortal Finaliters.
Got 3
Oh, 294, paragraph 4. I'm sorry. 249, paragraph 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Ascendant Adjuster Fused Mortal Finaliters who have attained levels of paradise, culture, and spiritual development are among those who can essay to trinitize a creature being. Mortal finaliter companies, when stationed on paradise, are granted a recess every millennium of Havana time. There are 7 different ways such finaliters may elect to spend this duty-free period, and one of these is in association with some fellow finaliter or some paradise Havana personality to attempt the enactment of creature trinitization.
Okay, so you can choose during this rest period in paradise to try to make a trinitization with another finaliter or a paradise Havana personality, right? And in this enactment of trinitization, you can only create one being. So this one time is very, very important, right? Okay, dear, would you take this next one?
If two mortal finaliters, on going before the architects of the master universe, demonstrate that they have independently chosen an identical concept for trinitization, the architects are empowered on their own discretion to promulgate mandates permitting these glorified mortal ascenders to extend their recess and to remove themselves for a time to the trinitizing sector of the paradise citizens. At the end of this assigned retreat, if they report that they have singly and jointly elected to make the paradoxical effort to spiritualize, idealize, and actualize a selected and original concept which has not therefore been trinitized, then does Master Spirit number 7 issue orders authorizing such an extraordinary undertaking.
Okay, so let's walk through this because this is a difficult concept to get down. Okay, we have two mortals. Okay, they have to go before the architects of the master universe. Why is that? Because it's the architects of the master universe that control all creation of beings out through time, right? Who goes out into the outer space levels before everyone else?
Creators. Oh, they do.
The architects of the master universe. They determine what types of beings will be created, where, and why, right? Okay, and then they have to get a clearance from whom? No, they have to go through the 7 master spirits, yeah? Okay, to receive orders authorizing them to create a being, because these are ascendant mortals and paradise citizens. So the ascendant mortals coming through one of the 7 super universes has to get authorization through the master spirit. Normally you would get authorization from a new being from whom? The creator sons, right? Through the Son of God. And they cannot even...
It's not out there yet.
Huh? But the creator son's not involved with this, is he? Okay, so you have to go through the same authorization process like a creator son does if he wants to create new beings. Okay, and he does that by getting permission from whom? The eternal Son, right? So we, being origin in the 7 master spirits, have to get permission through the 7 master spirits to attempt this trinitization process of a new being. And what does the 7 master spirit does? He checks and makes sure that this concept has never been trinitized before. Okay?
So these people have to think up a whole new being?
Do they have to think up a whole new spiritual concept or ideal that has never been thought up before?
Not a being, but a concept or
A
an
concept
ideal.
or a spiritual idea. That's right. Does that make sense?
It doesn't, it doesn't.
Well, it's a great challenge for these beings to come up with something like this, and both of the beings have to come up with the same concept. Okay?
It's kind of like writing a song and then
It's
having
kinda like writing
both
a s-
have apply
both
for the
have-
copyright.
At the same time. It's the same thing.
Well, they
Okay?
say there's certain themes of music that kind of come into existence at the same time.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, it's almost uncanny how 2 people will write the same piece of music simultaneously, or almost immediately after each other, and don't even know each other, right? This is a lot like the trinitization process. They come up with a spiritual concept or the spiritual realization or ideal, and they want to actualize this ideal, and they have to do it at the same time, so they have to get permission from the architects of the master universe and the 7th master spirit.
Now, this ideal will be trinitized.
It will be that this ideal, yes, they will come together and then jointly, we'll see, it's a mystery to us how this really happens, but jointly together they try to join their forces to create a being from this idea. Just like God the Father and God the Son came up with the concept of the infinite spirit, it's the same process, right? They came up with, well, we need this to do this, right? These two beings will do the same thing, come up with an idea, and then if they do it properly, eventually this new creature will emerge, and this new creature will be the ideal or the expert on that one concept. They will not know anything else, but they will know everything in the 7 super universes and the master universes of that one concept. That's what Trinitization is about. Okay? And it's humans and paradise citizens that do this, but we can only do it once.
That's
Okay?
wow.
So it's like writing the perfect song, isn't it?
I have a perfect baby.
Or having the perfect baby. You know, two beings coming together and have a creature that is so unique there will never be another one, and there cannot ever be another one. Right? Only that one.
That's interesting.
You know that's the show that was on There Can Be Only One? There can be only one.
Outlander.
Outlander,
Or
yeah.
something.
Okay, now this is a picture of that very concept, okay? They get permission from the architects of the Master Universe and the 7th Master Spirit, so the two beings are removed to the Trinitization sector of Paradise citizens, and this process may take millions and millions and millions of years before this emerges. Okay, so that's why they have to be removed from the roles of the Finaliter Corps, because they would be on assignment, and they cannot be on assignment while they're doing this. Okay, so they have to get permission, right? Quite interesting. And when they come together, they end up with what?
A baby.
A baby concept, right? Who becomes the ultimate of that concept in the universe. Okay? This is another picture of that, right? They go to Master Spirit number 7, and all these pairs in the Trinitization process are all trying to do the same thing, come up with this one concept, right? All right. It says here, at the end of this assigned retreat, if they report they have singly and jointly elected to make the parasitical effort to spiritualize, idealize, and actualize a selected and original concept which is not theretofore been trinitized, then does the Master Spirit number 7 issue orders authorizing such an extraordinary undertaking. So they have to get permission. All right? Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. Who's up? Rodney? Rodney, would you take the next one?
I actually think you are, Roger.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I've
Thank
been
you.
talking so much, I don't. Unbelievably long periods of time are sometimes consumed in these adventures. An age seems to pass before these faithful and determined one-time mortals, and sometimes Paradise Havana personalities, finally achieve their goal, really succeed in bringing their chosen concept of universal truth into actual being. And not always do these devoted couples meet with success. Many times they fail, and that through no discoverable error on their part. Candidates for Trinitization who thus fail are admitted to a special group of finaliters who are designated as beings who have made the supreme effort and sustained the supreme disappointment. When the Paradise deities unite to Trinitize, they always succeed, but not so with a homogeneous pair of creatures, the attempted union of two members of the same order of being. So it's not always successful, right? And this is the same kind of contact. The Trinitized sector, and they get together and they try to Trinitize. And there's no guarantee that they will be successful, right? Many are not. Okay, Rodney.
When a new and original being is trinitized by the gods, the divine parents are in deity potential unchanged. But when exalted creature beings enact such a creative episode, one of the contracting and participating individuals undergoes a unique personality modification. The two ancestors of a creature trinitized son become, in a certain sense, spiritually as one. We believe that this status of biunification of certain spiritual phases of personality will probably prevail until such a time as the Supreme Being shall have attained full and complete manifestation of personality in the grand universe.
Okay, so think about this. When God the Father and God the Son came together to create the infinite spirit, right? They become spiritually as one, right? When you address one, you address the other. They're almost inseparable, even though they're two separate personalities. That's exactly what happens when creature trinitization happens. You become so attuned to the other individual, you're almost indiscernible from that person. That's how attached you come to them.
Well, to me it sounds like the physical coming together of a man and a woman, through intercourse. I mean, there are moments that you feel that absolute oneness.
Oneness together.
And so this seems to have a parallel there on a totally different level.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep going. Millie? I think you're up.
Yes. Simultaneously with the appearance of a new creature trinitized son, there occurs this functional spiritual union of the two ancestors. The two trinitizing parents become one on the ultimate functional level. No created being in the universe can fully explain this amazing phenomenon. It is a near divine experience. When the Father and the Son united to externalize the infinite spirit upon the accomplishment of their purpose, they immediately became as one, and ever since have been one. And while the trinitization of union of the two creatures is on the order of the infinite scope of the perfect deity union of the universal Father and the eternal Son, the repercussions of creature trinitization are not eternal in nature. They will terminate upon the completed functionalization of the experiential deities.
Okay, and this is why the Supreme Being comes into order, right? This experience is passed on to the Supreme when the Supreme comes into full fruition. You follow me?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's an experience just like any other experience. Okay? And this is basically the trinitization process again. And this is the ascender trinitized son, right? Okay. While these, dear, jumping ahead.
While these parents of creature trinitized sons become as one in their universe assignments, they continue to be reckoned as two personalities in the makeup and roll calls of the core of the finality, and of the architects of the master universe. During the current universe age, all trinitization united parents are inseparable in assignment and function. Where one goes, the other goes. Where one does the other, what the one does, the other does. A perennial biunification involves a mortal or other finaliter and a paradise Havona personality. The united perennial beings function neither with the paradisers, Havoners, nor finaliters. Such mixed unions foregather in a special core made up of similar beings, and in all trinitization unions, mixed or otherwise, the perennial beings are conscious of and can communicate with each other, and they can perform duties that neither could have previously discharged.
Okay, so if it's a mixed group, if it's a finaliter and a paradise citizen, it changes who they are because it's not the same type of being any longer. So those are assigned to special core. If it's the same type of being, they can be reassigned to the finaliter core, right? Right. Okay, the 7 master spirits have authorized to sanction the trinitizing union of finaliters and Paradise Havona personalities, and such mixed liaisons are always successful. The resultant magnificent creature trinitized sons are representative of concepts unsuited to the comprehension of either the eternal creatures of paradise or the time creatures of space. Hence they become the wards of the masters of the architects of the master universe. These trinitized sons of destiny embody ideas, ideals, and experiences which apparently pertain to a future universe age and are therefore of no immediate practical value to either the super or the central universe administrations. These unique sons of the children of time and the citizens of eternity are all held in reserve on Vice Darrington, and they are engaged in the study of the concepts of time and the realities of eternity in a special sector of the sphere occupied by the secret colleges of the cores of the Creator Sons. So by doing this, they have to be trained much as the Creator Sons do. They're held in reserve there. They have a concept of an age to come, but they're not serviceable in the super or master universe any longer because they've taken a paradise citizen and a finaliter and come together, and one is a finite being and the other is what? The other is a transcendental being. Okay? So you're mixing two different kinds of beings, and they believe, they teach us in the book, they believe that that's the type of being which will be in the outer space levels. Is it more of a transcendental type of being that is both from Paradise Havona beings and finite beings? Okay? So that's why they're no longer serviceable here. Okay? And this is an example of that. Okay? This is the secret college of the core of the Creator Son, Vice Darrington. And these are the Trinitized Sons of Destiny, and solitary messengers that's done this here. Okay? Alright. Rodney.
Okay, the Supreme Being is a unification of 3 phases of deity reality. God the Supreme, the spiritual unification of certain finite aspects of the Paradise Trinity. The Almighty Supreme, the power unification of the grand universe, creators, and the Supreme Mind, the individual contribution of the third source and center, and his coordinates to the reality of the Supreme Being. In their Trinitization adventures, the superb creatures of the central universe and paradise are engaged in a threefold exploration of the deity of the Supreme, which results in the production of 3 orders of creature Trinitized sons.
Okay, let's go over this just a tad before we move on. This is the 3 orders of the current universe age, the next universe age, and the future, right? God the Supreme, the Almighty Supreme, and the Supreme Being, right? So let's go on. So we have what? We have finite, we have transcendental, and then we have the future, right? All right. This is one of the 3 orders they're talking about. Go ahead, Millie. 1. Turn your mic on, Millie.
Thank you. 1. Ascender Trinitized Sons. In their creative efforts, the finaliters are attempting to trinitize certain conceptual realities of the Almighty Supreme, which they have experientially acquired in their ascension through time and space to paradise.
Okay, so that's the first one, right? That's the ascenders, right? The finaliters. Okay. Dear, take the next one.
2 Paradise Havona Trinitized Sons. The creative efforts of the Paradise citizens and the Havoners results in the trinitization of certain high spiritual aspects of the Supreme Being, which they have experientially acquired on a supreme background bordering on the ultimate and the eternal.
Okay, so these are paradise citizens, right? Transcendental type beings. And they're on the next level, okay? And they're bringing concepts of the ultimate and the eternal into being, okay? And here we have paradise citizens and Havoners together, right? Transcendental beings, paradise beings, right? Two different types of beings, right? And this is a paradise Havona Trinitized son, right? Okay, what was the other one? The finite, right? The finite. And then we have what other combination? We have the combination of the finite or the finaliters and Havoners, and the finaliters and paradise citizens, right? So we have three different types of combinations there, don't we? Okay? Trinitized sons of destiny. When a finaliter and a paradise Havoner together trinitize a new creature, this conjoint effort repercusses in certain phases of the supreme ultimate mind, the maximum, right? The resulting creature trinitizations are sons of super creational. They represent actuals of supreme ultimate deity, which has not been otherwise experientially attained, and which therefore automatically fall within the province of the architects of the master universe. It's an age to come, right? Custodians of these things, which transcend the creational limits of the present universe age. The Trinitized sons of destinies embody certain aspects of the unrevealed master universe. That's the universe to come, right? Function of the supreme ultima. We do not know a great deal about these conjoint children of time and eternity, but we do know much more than we are permitted to reveal. Okay? So this is going on for another universe age, right? Okay. And this is a picture of that. We have a paradise ascender, trinitized sons of destiny, right? We also have a Havoner and ascender, and they can create a trinitized son of destiny. This is the different combination. We also have solitary messengers, right? We can do this. All right? All right. This is all the combinations, really. We have the architects of the master universe, the solitary messengers, Vicegerrington, and the Trinitized sons of destiny. These are beings that have been created by these trinitizations, right? Creature Trinitized sons. In addition to the creature Trinitized sons, consider in this narrative, there are numerous unrevealed orders of creature Trinitized beings. The diverse progeny of the multiple liaisons of the seven finaliter core and Paradise Havona personalities. All of these Paradise Trinitized beings, revealed and unrevealed, are endowed with personality by the Universal Father. So all these Trinitized beings have personality from the Father, just like we do. Okay? There's also the seven orders of the Paradise Havoners, too. All seven rings. Okay? This goes on and on. Go ahead, Rodney.
Okay. When new Ascender Trinitized and Paradise Havana Trinitized sons are young and untrained, they are usually dispatched for long periods of service on the seven Paradise spheres of the Infinite Spirit, where they serve under the tutelage of the seven Supreme Executives. Subsequently, they may be adopted for further training in the local universes by the Trinity Teacher sons.
So these beings that are created by this trinitization process are assigned to the seven super universes. Okay? And because they're unique in concept, there's only one of these in a seventh in each of the seven super universes. Well, there's only one in the seven super universes because they're a unique concept, right? So there's not enough of these. All right, let's go on, Millie.
These adopted sons of high and glorified creature origin are the apprentice student helpers of the teacher sons, and as regards classification, they are often temporarily numbered with these sons. They may and do execute many noble assignments in self-denial in behalf of their chosen realms of service.
So they go out in service and to try to gain experience with the teacher sons. Okay.
And self-denial. I wonder what that-
Self-denial. I'm not sure what that means. Let's go
That's
on.
weird.
The teacher sons in the local universes may nominate their creature trinitized wards or embraced by the Paradise Trinity. Emerging from this embrace as trinitized sons of perfection, they enter the service of the Ancients of Days and the seven super universes, that being the present known destiny of this unique group of twice trinitized beings.
So they can be trinitized just like we can, right? Not all creature trinitized sons are Trinity embraced. Many become the associates of the ambassadors of the seven master spirits of paradise, of the reflective spirits of the super universes, and of the mother spirits of the local creations. Others may accept special assignments on the eternal isle. Still others may enter the special services on the secret worlds of the Father and on paradise spheres of the Spirit. Eventually, many find their way into the conjoint core of the Trinitized sons of the inner circuit of Havona. All right, Rodney.
Mine, I just read. Okay.
Seems like,
Well- Pardon me?
Yeah, go ahead.
it seems that way anyway. We're
Yeah.
going quickly, yeah.
We're going quickly. Yeah,
Okay. So,
accepting.
accepting
The Trinitized sons.
Of perfection. You find it?
No.
All right, I'll
Page-
read.
Page
Really?
252, second paragraph.
That's what I thought. Accepting the Trinitized sons?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Accepting the Trinitized sons of perfection and those who are foregathering on Vice Carrington, the supreme destiny of all creature Trinitized sons appears to be entrance into the core of Trinitized finalities, one of the seven paradise cores of finality.
Okay, so there's 7 paradise cores of finality, not just mortals, right? So this is the goal of most of the Trinitized sons, right? As the Trinitized sons of perfection, right? And they become part of the core of the Trinitized finalators. All right, Millie, would you take the next one, Celestial Guardians?
The celestial guardians. Creature trinitized sons are embraced by the Paradise Trinity in classes of 7,000. These trinitized offspring are perfected humans and of Paradise Havona personalities are all equally embraced by the deities, but they are assigned to super universes in accordance with the advice of their former instructors, the Trinity teacher sons. Those of more acceptable service are commissioned high sun assistants. Those of less distinguished performance are designated celestial guardians.
How can you have less distinguished? You know, that's,
Yeah.
that's interesting, isn't it? Celestial Guardians. Okay, this picture of the Celestial Guardians, all right? And it also says here that these Celestial Guardians and their associates, the high sun assistants, have never been indwelt by adjusters. Neither are they spirit nor sun fused. The embrace of the Paradise Trinity does, however, compensate for the non-fused status of the Trinitized sons of perfection. All right?
When these unique beings have been Trinity embraced, they become valuable adjuncts to the super universe governments. They are versed in the affairs of the ascendant career, not by personal ascension, but as a result of their service with the Trinity teacher sons on the worlds of space.
So they don't have any personal experiences coming up through the ascension plan because they were never ascended, right? And they didn't descend either, did they? Okay, because they were trinitized, all right? Almost 1 billion celestial guardians have been commissioned and Urantia. Now this is not Guardians of the Galaxy like the movie, just to let y'all know. Right?
Such a good movie.
Such a good movie. All right. They are chiefly assigned to the administration of the perfections of days on the headquarters of the major sectors, and are ably assisted by the core of the Ascendant Sun fused mortals. All right.
Where are we?
The celestial guardians.
252, paragraph 6. Rodney? Did you read
The
that?
celestial guardians, is that it?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. Okay.
I had to go check on my cat. The celestial guardians,
Wait a minute.
Okay,
Rodney's next. You'll read the next one, Melly.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay, the celestial guardians are the officers of the courts of the ancients of days, functioning as court messengers and as bearers of the
Summonses.
summonses and decisions of the various tribunals of the super-universe governments. They are the apprehending agents of the ancients of days. They go forth from Uversa to bring back beings whose presence is required before the super-universe judges. They execute the mandates for the detention of any personality in the super-universe. They also accompany spirit-fused mortals of the local universe versus when, for any reason, their presence is required on Uversa.
So
So
the
these guys
celestial.
are arresting officers. Do
They are.
arrest Lucifer?
They are. So when Lucifer or Caligaster or any of those beings that rebelled are transported from the prison world to be in front of the Ancients of Days, it is a celestial guardian that goes and apprehends them.
Wow. They can't escape.
No, they can't escape them.
That's
No.
weird.
No
No?
way. And they can apprehend any type of being.
Wow.
So that's why they're called celestial guardians. You see?
Hmm.
They guard the entire master universe. So when they put you under arrest, you're going wherever they say you're going. Okay? It is no escape. All right. Millie, would you take the next one?
The celestial guardians and their associates, the high sun assistants, have never been indwelt by adjusters. Neither are they spirit nor sun fused. The embrace of the Paradise Trinity does, however, compensate for the non-fused status of the Trinitized Sons of Perfection. The Trinity embrace may act solely upon the idea which is personified in a creature Trinitized Son, leaving the embraced Son otherwise unchanged, but such a limitation occurs only when so planned.
Okay, so
I hear you.
these beings have never been sun, spirit, or adjuster embraced, or fused. Okay? Go ahead.
These twice trinitized sons are marvelous beings, but they are neither as versatile nor dependable as their ascendant associates. They lack that tremendous and profound personal experience which the rest of the sons belonging to this group have acquired by actually climbing up to glory from the dark domains of space. We of the ascendant career love them and do all in our power to compensate their deficiencies, but they make us ever grateful for our lowly origin and our capacity for experience. Their willingness to recognize and acknowledge their deficiencies in the experiential realities of universe ascension is transcendently beautiful and sometimes most touchingly pathetic.
Okay, because they don't have any experience, do they? You know, so they envy everyone they meet because all the beings they run into have experience of ascension.
So they've got an attitude?
No, they just feel like they're lacking constantly. You know, Trinitized Sons of Perfection are limited in contrast to the other Trinity embraced sons because their experiential capacity is time-space inhibited. They haven't experienced time and space. See? They're experience deficient despite long training with the supreme executives and the teacher sons. And if this were not the case, the experiential saturation would preclude They're being left in reserve for acquiring experience in a future universe age. There is simply nothing in all the universal existence which can take place of actual personal experience. And these creature trinitized sons are held in reserve for experiential function in some universe epic. Future universe epic. So they're held in reverse for whatever's coming in the future, right? Rodney, take the next one.
Okay, on the mansion worlds, I have often seen these dignified officers of the high courts of the super universe look so longingly and appealingly at even the recent arrivals from the evolutionary worlds of space, that one could not help realizing that these possessors of non-experiential trinitization really envied their supposedly less fortunate brethren who ascend the universal path by steps of bona fide experience and actual living. Notwithstanding their handicaps and limitations, they are a wonderfully useful and ever-willing corps of workers when it comes to the execution of the complex administrative plans of the super-universe government.
So the next time you think, woe is me, my experience on this world is just horrible, the world is bad, I'm bad, everything around me bad, and oh my goodness, it's so bad, and I want to kill myself. Think of these gentlemen, right, or these ladies, whatever they are. They would do anything to have the experience of the struggle of life.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. It's the struggle of life.
We're going to look back and really think, that Earth life was pretty cool.
It was pretty cool, that's right. We gained experience that we can't gain anywhere else. So that's why they say live every day of your life to its fullest, because you never have the opportunity to live that day again.
That's right.
So, anyway, let's go on. I'm done preaching. Millie, would you take the next one?
The High Sun Assistants. The High Sun Assistants of the superior group of the Trinitized sons of glorified ascendant beings of the mortal core of the finality, and of their eternal associates, the Paradise of Honor personalities. They are assigned to the super universe service and function as personal aides to the high sons of the governments of the Ancients of Days. They might fittingly be denominated private secretaries. They act from time to time as clerks for special commissions and other groups, associations of the high sons. They are perfecters of wisdom, divine counselors, universal censors, mighty messengers, those high in authority, and those without name and number.
So these are all beings that's been trinitized once, and they become re-trinitized, right, to become high sun assistants, right? And they serve under the Ancients of Days, okay? And this is a picture of them, okay? Creature trinitized sons, okay. Dear, would you take the next one?
If in discussing the celestial guardians, I have seemed to call attention to the limitations and handicaps of these twice trinitized sons, let me now, in all fairness, call attention to their one point of great strength, the attribute which makes them almost invaluable to us. These beings owe their very existence to the fact that they are the personification of a single and supreme concept. They are the personality embodiment of some divine idea, some universal ideal, as it has never before been conceived, expressed, or trinitized, and they have subsequently been Trinity embraced. Thus they show forth and actually embody the very wisdom of the divine Trinity as concerns the ideal of their personality existence. As far as that particular concept is revealable to the universes, these personalities embody all of everything that any creature or creator intelligence could possibly conceive, express, or exemplify. They are that idea personified.
Okay, so they start out created by a union of two mortal finalators, or a paradise of immortal and a finalator, or a Havona native, and a Fenaler, and they are created in that way, okay? And they are of this one supreme idea. But they have also been Trinity embraced, okay, afterwards. So even though they are created as a Trinitization, they are actually embraced again by the Trinity itself, okay? So it's not that they are lacking because of their origin. They have this Trinity embrace that makes up for that lacking of their origin, okay? And that's very important. And they are the personification of that one great concept or ideal. You cannot see that such living can you not see that such living concentrations of a single supreme concept of universe reality will be of untold service to those who are entrusted in the administration of the super universes? Rodney.
It'd be like a tool.
Like a tool, that's right.
Not long since, I was directed to head a commission of 6, one of each of the high suns, assigned to the study of 3 problems pertaining to a group of universes in the south parts of Urantia, down in the south. I was made acutely aware of the value of the high sun assistants when I made requisition of the chief of their order, Universa, for temporary assignment of such secretaries to my commission. The first of our ideas was represented by a high sun assistant on Universa, who was forthwith attached to our group. Our second problem was embodied in a high sun assistant assigned to a super universe number 3. We secured much help from this source through the Central Universe Clearinghouse for the coordination and dissemination of essential knowledge, but nothing comparable to this assistance afforded by the actual presence of a personality who is a concept creature trinitized in supremacy and deity trinitized in finality. Concerning our third problem, the records of Paradise disclosed that such an idea had never been creature trinitized.
So their third concept they were researching, no one had ever been trinitized for that concept. But the others they had, so they could call on the resources of those beings because they had been created. But the third one they could not. Right? Okay. Millie.
Yes. High sun assistants are unique and original personalizations of tremendous concepts and stupendous ideals, and as such they are able to impart inexpressible illumination to our deliberations from time to time. When I am acting on some remote assignment out in the universes of space, think what it means by way of assistance if I am so fortunate as to have attached to my mission a high sun assistant who is the fullness of divine concept regarding the very problem I have been sent to attack and solve.
Yeah.
And I have repeatedly had this very experience. The only difficulty with this plan is that no super universe can have a complete of these trinitized ideas. We only get 1/7 of these beings. So it is only about 1 time in 7 that we enjoy the personal association of these beings, even when the records indicate that the idea has been trinitized.
So there's only one of these beings in all 7 super universes that has been trinitized in this concept, right? So when these things come up, many times there is a being that's been trinitized for this concept, but he's not available because he's in another super universe. Right, so this is very important, right?
So when they send us all
Well, maybe this is
messenger-
where they get the ideas that they go off and make trinitized suns.
That's right. That's right. Now, yeah, they would send a solitary messenger out there and try to get as much information or use the reflectivity service to do that. But it's not as good as having that being at hand to answer all your questions about the concept and problem you're trying to solve. right?
You probably could make copies.
Specialized being.
The other thing here is very interesting too. You know, no matter how big-headed we think we get, how smart we think we are, these beings that are writing this book are millions of times more intelligent than we are, right? Millions of times. And so we have no reason to think that we are so hot, do we? I mean, we're not smart at all compared to these beings. And even these beings have to ask for help in solving some of the issues that come up in their existence in life in the universe, right? So if they can ask for help, what are we thinking? You know? Well, none of us know everything, that's for sure. All right.
That's true.
Yeah.
We could use to great advantage much larger numbers of these beings on Uversa. Because of their value to the super universe administrations, we in every way possible encourage the pilgrims of space and also the residents of paradise to attempt trinitization after they have contributed to one another those experiential realities which are essential to the enactment of such creative adventures.
So they encourage everyone to try trinitization. We now have in our super universe about 1.25 million high sun assistants, and they serve on both the major and minor sectors, even as they function on Uversa. They very often accompany us on our assignments to the remote universes. High sun assistants are not permanently assigned to any sun or to any commission. They are in constant circulation, serving where the idea or ideal which they are can best further an eternal purposes of the Paradise Trinity, whose sons they have become. So they serve in the area where they can best be service, right? All right, Rodney.
Excuse me. They are touchingly affectionate, superbly loyal, exquisitely intelligent, supremely wise regarding a single idea, and transcendently humble. While they can impart to you the lore of the universe concerning their one idea or ideal, it is well nigh pathetic to observe them seeking knowledge and information on a host of other subjects, even from the ascending mortals. So they're very intelligent with the one idea, but everything else, they don't have any common sense about it.
That's right, they're totally limited.
And they don't have the opportunity to continue to grow or ascend or anything.
As far as we know, no.
I mean,
Yeah.
because there is joy in learning
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
branching out.
That would be a sad life.
They gain experience through helping others, I'm sure. But that's probably a long, long process. Billy, would you take the next one? And the last part.
And this is the narrative of the origin, nature, and functioning of certain of those who are called Trinitized sons of God, more particularly of those who have passed through the divine embrace of the Paradise Trinity and who have then been assigned to the services of the super universes, there to give wise and understanding cooperation with the administrators of the Ancients of Days in their untiring efforts to facilitate the inward progress of the ascending mortals of time toward their immediate Habona destination and their eventual paradise goal. Narrated by a mighty messenger of the revelatory corps of Orvonta.
Okay, and I realize that this paper is very, very difficult to understand. It's only by repeated reading it will start sinking in and become clearer and clearer and clearer to you. Hopefully the explanations have helped a little bit. Now, next time we will be moving on to paper 29 because we've done paper 23 through 28 under the series of the ministering spirits of the universe, right? So we'll move on to paper 29 next time.
Well, do you have a page number?
Huh?
You have an age number?
319.
Yeah, 319.
Yeah. 319. That's page 319. Okay, and what's the title of that?
The Universe Power Director.
The Universe Power Directors. That will be our next paper, next Wednesday.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the one after that, 30. List and list and list.
Yeah, 30 is the To be verse, I forget what it's called.
Personality is a grand universe.
Personality is the grand universe. Right, that's right.
Got a lot of lists.
Lot of lists, a lot of stuff on it. A lot of stuff.
We went over that on August 10th, 2011.
Yeah, and 2011 was the last time we went over there, August 10th. That's when I was just getting started having meetings, right? So we're going to go over this in a whole new light this time. So hopefully we'll learn a little bit more. All right, let's have a little prayer for the night, and we'll close out for tonight. Millie, would you like to pray for us tonight?
I can do that. Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that we've had and the opportunity to gather again to study this, your new revelation. Be with us as we go forward and try to sort through the many Trinitized sons and understand the importance of their assignments as they assist in the operations of your cosmos. We thank you for your patience with us as we stumble along in your beautiful world. We are grateful for our guardians and thought adjusters. Please keep us ever aware of their gentle urgings. We pray in his name, Christ might have never done. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for joining us at home. Please come see us again. God bless you.